right, Jonathan, so head on over to the sink here. So as a health administrative assistant, you are expected to be vigilant in your hand hygiene. So today I'm going to demonstrate for you the proper technique for washing your hands. Jonathan, the first thing you'll want to do is stand with your feet shoulder width apart and ensure your back is not hunched over the sink. This helps to reduce the amount of strain on your back, and this is important as you'll be washing your hands quite frequently throughout the day. Jonathan, before you wash your hands, it is important to remove any and all jewelry from your wrists and fingers. This is important as microorganisms can be lodged under the jewelry. Once you have taken off all of your jewelry, you will want to ensure that you are standing a good distance away from the sink. This is to ensure your uniform is not touching the sink or the counter. This is important as microorganisms may be transmitted from the sink to your uniform. Okay, Jonathan, so what we will do now is turn the tap to a moderate flow and adjust the temperature of the water to ensure it is nice and warm. So moderate water flow prevents microorganisms from spreading through the splashing of water, and the warm water removes less protective oils from the skin. So before you wash your hands, you will want to ensure that your forearms and are lower than your elbows. This prevents water from dripping back up the arm and contaminating your clothing. So Jonathan, when washing your hands, you'll want to allow the water to flow from the top of your forearm to your fingertips. This helps to ensure that the water flows from the least contaminated areas to the most contaminated areas. Jonathan, the next step is to apply soap to your palms of your hands. If you are using a liquid hand soap, you'll want to use 2 to 4 milliliters of liquid. If you're using a bar of soap, you'll want to rinse the bar of soap before returning it to the soap dish. Rinsing the bar of soap removes microorganisms and leaves it clean for the next person to use. When washing your hands, you'll want to start at the top of each forearm and work your way down to your wrists. After lathering from the forearm to the wrist, you'll want to continue with each hand using firm rubbing and circular movements to work up a soapy lather. Jonathan, this technique is to ensure that you are creating a lather from the least contaminated area to be washed to the most contaminated area to be washed. Now you'll want to scrub the back of each of your hands using a rotary motion. This motion helps to effectively remove microorganisms from the back of your hands. Next, you'll want to interlace your fingers and thumbs and move your hands back and forth. All right, Jonathan, so the interlacing of your fingers is actually, what it's doing is helping to ensure that you are effectively cleaning in between your fingers. During the hand washing process, you'll want to make sure that you do not touch the sink with any part of your hands, as doing this prevents recontamination and picking up microorganisms from the sink. Now, Jonathan, the next step is to begin rinsing your forearms and hands. You'll want to start with your fingertips down, starting at the top of the forearm. You'll want to rotate one arm at this time under the water so that the water flows from the lathered area your forearm to your fingertips. And you'll do that for both hands. Again, it is important to let the water flow from the least contaminated area to the most contaminated area. Jonathan, now that you have finished washing your hands, the next step is drying. You'll want to use a clean paper towel to thoroughly pat dry your hands from the top of your forearms to your fingertips. It is important to ensure your hands are completely dry, as moist skin can become chapped, and the chapping breaks the surfaces of your skin, and this can leave you more vulnerable to infection. Jonathan, once you have finished drying your hands, you'll want to use a clean paper towel to turn off the taps and wipe the surrounding sink areas. First, you'll want to make sure that you throw your paper towel in the proper receptacle bin. Then you will grab a new paper towel to turn off the tap and wipe the surrounding sink. It is important to use a clean, dry paper towel, as microorganisms may be transferred from a wet paper towel to your clean hands. After turning off the taps and drying the counter surface, you'll want to dispose of the paper towel in the proper receptacle bin. Jonathan, as you can see, the implementation of proper hand washing techniques helps to maintain asepsis within a facility. As a health administrative assistant, it is your duty to help prevent the spread of microorganisms by frequently washing your hands.